Thank you for tuning into Looking Fabz. Welcome back. We are talking about pageants and their influence in the community. And my name is Fabby, and I'm your host. And I have two wonderful guests with me today. And can you introduce yourself, please?
Good evening. My name is Janelle McNish, and I'm the director of the EthnicNew EnglandPageant.
Good evening. My name is Lovern Augustine, and I am Mrs. Ethnic World International 2011.
Okay, so tell me more about Ethnic World.
So EthnicNew EnglandPageant is a pageant that's all about celebrating diversity. We are reshaping what queens look like and what they do. We are committed to changing lives and being active in the community. And so Lovern Augustine, our Miss Ethnic World International, is a great embodiment of what we really are trying to aim for at Ethnic New England.
Okay. For you, as a winner, what does Miss Ethnic World mean to you?
So many things and on so many levels. Since winning the local pageant, it has opened up so many doors for me, particularly moving on to the international version of the pageant in LA that took place a few months ago in LA, as I mentioned, and was able to win there as well. It was my first experience to a professional pageant, and so it's been an amazing experience to have won the first one locally and gone on to LA, competed there amongst some amazing women that had pure talent and pure drive to win it as well and take the crown there. So it's been an amazing journey. I've been able to go ahead and open up doors for women that are exploring platforms, specifically mine, domestic violence against women, and just been able to, talk more about that and inspire other women in my arena, in my circle, outside of my circle. It's just been an amazing journey.
Okay, so Janelle, how did you decide become the director of Miss Ethnic World? Well, Ethnic World.
So I was actually Miss Ethnic World International in 2008, and great title. This was actually the first pageant that I entered where it was all about women of color and promoting women of color. I've done USA before, which is an arena that has some of the more stereotypical pageant winners, but this was the first time that I was in a pageant that I won and was able to showcase that title and bring it back to my community that really was an embodiment and represented myself, which as a woman of color is very important.
Okay, so is this the first year that you've been?
So Ethnic New England was featured last April at the Roxbury Community College, and we will be having a 2011 pageant there as well, April 16th. At Roxbury Community College, so we're really looking to get more girls involved in the pageant. But one of the things that I really want to talk about is the pageant is one day. It's an opportunity to showcase your talent, to get on stage in front of your family and friends. But the pageant life is the day after, in that year that you're reigning as a queen. So we're committed to being in the community, doing a ton of community service, doing appearances such as this, talking about what it means to be a queen, and the that you have to make to giving back to your community. So as Lovern mentioned, she's been working tirelessly this past, really only a couple months, talking about and promoting the prevention of domestic violence. She's done drives, she's gone on shows, and has been working with her DA's office in Brockton to promote that. So that's really what the pageant is about. It's the pageant that one day, but then really, what do you do once you become a queen?
Okay, we're gonna take a brief break. We're gonna see the clip of the New England Ethnic World, right?
Yeah, you got it.
We're going to take off of that, and then we'll be right back with Lovern and Janelle. Okay, thank you for tuning back to the Looking Fab show, and my name is Fabby, and again I have Janelle and Lovern here with me. So I'm going to ask you a few questions that I asked Dima from Miss Black, Massachusetts. And how many categories does pageant have?
So we actually have 3 categories: teen, miss, and MRS Merit Division. So we take young women from 14 upwards to however old you want to be.
Oh.
Very open-ended.
Okay, and in your pageant system, what makes it not the ordinary pageant?
So I think the one thing that we strive to do is 2 things. I keep talking about celebrating your cultural background and community service and giving back. So instead of doing talent, we do a cultural expression. So it's an opportunity for women to get on stage and talk about their cultural background. So Lovern, do you want to share what you did to display your cultural background?
Absolutely. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, so it was very important to first not only share the blend of cultures that we have on the island, but to also show the type of dance, one of the type of dances that is native to the island. So I was able to create a narrative that kind of touched on every aspect of the culture there, and also break out into a form of freestyle dance called the ballet, which is French and African style dance. And that was amazing in itself, again, to just represent Trinidad the way I could in this pageant. And that's, again, one of the things that makes it different than most other pageants out there, because you're allowed to express so much more about where you come from and what makes you who you are.
So we've had young women do Irish step dance, we've had women do African dances, we've had monologues, we've had people actually do like a cooking demonstration talking about the things that represent their culture through food. So it's really an opportunity for us to educate others about your cultural background, but to also show that we're all unique, but there's a lot of commonalities between people and their different ethnic backgrounds. So,
and that in itself creates a lot of cultural tolerance, because a lot of people, going into these pageants, they don't know much about who you are. So it gives not only the audience a chance to learn a little bit more about where you come from, but amongst the sisterhood in the pageant itself, we are learning more about you as a person.
Okay, so for someone that wants to enter the pageant, what would be their first initial step?
We are actively recruiting right now, so we want you to be in the next Ethnic New England pageant, April 16th. So all you have to do is to go on EnglandPageant.com, and there's information on there for you to sign up and to register, and you'll be contacted by myself. I'll give you a rundown about the next steps, but we are actively recruiting contestants. So if you have any inkling that you've ever wanted to do a pageant, this is a pageant for you.
Take the dare. Take the dare, ladies, because it's such a worthwhile experience. Not only just to win, because it's not about just winning, and I can say that because I'm the title winner, but again, the experience in itself is just such a rewarding one, because you come into contact with such wonderful women that you form lifelong relationships with. And between Ethnic New England and Ethnic World International being part of that pageant system, it's been a wonderful experience just to meet these women and learn more about them, and it's just been amazing.
So Lovern, for you, what was the deciding factor? Okay, this is the pageant I'm going to enter, and I'm just going to give it. What made, because I know sometimes you say, oh, I'm going to do it. What was the point where it said, okay, for real, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to start getting my stuff ready to do it.
Janelle and I are laughing because she knows the story of how I ended up entering, and it's because friends of mine actually dared me. They dared me. And, it was one of those things initially where I said, okay, I can do this, and I can totally, that's something that I'm going to do. Mind you, after entering the pageant and day of competition, I never realized how much work this really is. It's not something where you show up, you put on clothes, you put on makeup, you do your hair, and you look pretty. This I give, and I say this all the time, I give pageant contestants a huge, huge kudos, because they take on a lot. Not only do you get prepped in what to wear, you have to learn about makeup, You have to learn about your hair. You have to like be on point with what you're going to do for your cultural expression portion. And this, you know, it's a lot of work. So again, it's something that I took seriously and again, put my best foot forward and ended up winning.
Okay. For the, sorry, your personal opinion, what TV portray as far as pageants? What do you think about that?
I think it kind of goes back to reality TV as a whole. You get the good, the bad, and people need to really be able to decipher what's real. There's a lot of truth to some of the things that are going on, particularly children's pageants, some behind the scenes with other pageants. That does actually happen. I've competed in pageants for probably the last 10 years, and it does happen. However, they don't always show the positive side. So the camaraderie, the friendships that are built. Some of my best friends I've actually met through pageants. And so I think it's like in a TV show that there are definitely aspects that are true, and there are other sides that are not being properly portrayed. And that's one of the things that we really are committed to at Ethnic New England, is that we want to make everyone's experience positive. We don't want you to leave the same way. We want you to leave with your head a little bit higher, your shoulder back a little bit farther, with you to have a different step because you feel more confident, more proud of yourself through a self-exploration that you've done by competing in the pageant, but also because you've connected with some really positive women. So it's not all negative or bad.
What do you think, Lovern?
I agree with Janelle. Again, it's, you know, you don't see the positive aspects, the behind the scenes, the prep, the camaraderie, as Janelle mentioned, the sisterhood that you form. And you know, again, at the end of the day, it is a competition, but you come into contact with women that have the same goal in mind, have wants and drives and goals, and that can not leave you feeling, you know, jealous or catty. You want these women to succeed. You want yourself to succeed. They want you to succeed. So again, at the end of the day, it's very, very different from what you see on TV, and I have to agree with Janelle in that aspect.
The fact that at the end of the day, it is a competition, do you think that can be a bad influence if the person is not ready to compete?
I think it's all in what your mindset is going in. I'm a competitor. That's just me by nature. So I'm going to go into the competition to compete. But it's about competing against yourself and putting your best foot forward. So that's one of the things we pay a lot of attention to through Ethnic Wing. We actually have development workshops that are part of the pageant. And we talk about it is a competition, but how do you put your best foot forward? You're not competing against Lovern or anyone else. You're competing against yourself. So we really try to shift that mindset